Hello, welcome everyone. We're happy to bring you another recap video. Don't forget to like and subscribe. A man falls down from the sky and he feels as if he has just been sent to heaven. The last thing he remembers was him doing an experiment. He laughs and thinks that he is so miserable that he died by just doing an experiment. He looks around fascinated that heaven looks like a normal place with grass, trees, and weeds. At the moment, he sees a girl rushing by above him on the cliff, who is looking to relieve herself but can't seem to find a bathroom. He thinks that the girl is wearing some old school clothes which were in style about a few decades ago. The girl in her hurry doesn't notice the man and quickly sits down to pee. The man is shocked at what is she doing. The pee runs down near him, but he quickly runs off. He then notices a sound from the bushes and it appears to be a snake that is approaching the girl. He calls out to the girl, asking her to be aware of the snake. Instead of heeding to the warning, she gets scared that someone is watching her, but in all this the snake bites her, and she falls over the cliff onto the man. They both get hurt with the girl falling on top of him. Without a question, she slaps him hard and keeps on punching him. The man feels maybe this is how love feels in heaven, or maybe this is some auspicious first meeting. He finally is able to get up and explains that he had no ill intentions and was only there by accident. He keeps explaining that he is not a bad person. She still accuses him of being a bad person. He explains that there was a poisonous snake near her, and it was nearing her, and that he had tried to warn her. The girl counters him by saying that what was he doing before then? Was he waiting for something? She even explains that how can it be a coincidence that a snake was just at the right time when he being a peeping Tom? She is about to call him a perv, but she feels dizzy. The man explains that his is because of the poison from the snake. He tries to help her, but why she was peeing. The man urged her to let him help her as the poison is dangerous and that she could die unless he somehow takes the venom out. Even though she knows he is right, she tells him that he doesn't want a pervert to help her and faints. At the same time, an old man seems to be looking for a granddaughter. While finding her, he is shocked when he sees a man on top of her. The old man is furious, and he thinks that the man is molesting his granddaughter. He swings his mashie and swears to kill him for doing such a thing. The man stops the old man trying to explain that he is trying to save his granddaughter. He tells him that they don't have much time, and if he doesn't stop now, she will die. During all this, the girl slightly opens her eyes and calls her grandpa, telling him that she is cold. The grandpa quickly rushes over to her and asks what happened and that she is scaring him. The man steps in and takes off the girl's pants. The grandpa loses it and asks what the hell does he think he is doing and that he will kill him. The man explains that he can kill him later, but as of this moment, they need to think of a way to save her granddaughter. He further adds that she was bitten by a poisonous snake, and if they don't hurry and suck the poison out, she will die. The grandpa pushes away the man and tells that he will suck out the poison. He smiles and allows, but he said that there is just one problem, that the bite is on her buttocks, which makes the grandpa a bit worried. The man adds more fuel to the fire by telling him that if he does succeed, her granddaughter will feel ashamed to live with him. The man yells at him that there are no more tricks and that he should just step aside. The grandpa holds him and tells him that he can't touch her buttock, to which the man gives up and tells him if he really wants to give her granddaughter a scar for the rest of her life, then he should do it. The old man finally understands and lets the man do it. He explains that he can still manage to suck the poison out. Even though he has so much medical experience, he has never sucked out poison. The old man begs him as she is her only granddaughter. The man musters the courage and sucks the poison out and spits it. He asks the old man to collect some herbs and starts uttering weird herb names which even the old man hadn't heard of. He then goes to collect all these himself. He finds all the herbs and makes some medicine to disinfect the wound. After seeing all this, the old man asks if he really is a doctor. He asks if he thinks of him as an imposter. He can stop helping her, to which the old man takes back his rude question. The man asks the old man about the years as he sees both him and the girl wearing retro clothes that people used to wear decades ago. The old man explains that even though they live up in mountains, they aren't that out of date. He tells him that it's 2019, which shocks the man. The man can't believe it. The old man says that it's 2019 and he can go home and check it on his calendar. He then drags the old man to his house to see his calendar. The old man, while being dragged, yells that they have to his granddaughter and can't leave her alone but naked. They return to his home, and to his surprise, the year actually is 2019. He asks himself that the years was 2089 and how can it be 2019? He then glances at himself in the mirror and doesn't recognize himself. He keeps on saying weird features about his face, that he doesn't have this or that. He asks the old man about the leader of the alliance, but there is no leader or alliance, explains the old man. He further adds that this is the country of Coaxia, which has many neighboring countries such as Xing and Mai, but no alliance. The man puts two and two together that before the alliance, the countries in his time must have been individual countries. He thinks that maybe the explosion from his experiment sent his soul back in time. During their conversation, the girl wakes up. Grandpa felt relaxed after knowing that she was off now. The girl looks around and asks how they got home and weren't they chopping wood in the mountains. He explains that she had been bitten by a snake and this man had helped him save her. She looks at him and immediately yells, "Pervert bastard." The old man tells her not to be rude. She says that he peeked at her butt. The man tells the man to get the herbs as they are almost done boiling. Still shy, she asks if he was the one who applied the medicine. He adds that not only that he also sucked the poison from her butt as well. She yells at him why he had done such a thing. He said it was either him or her grandpa, to which she understands. The man keeps thinking how he had traveled 70 years back into the past from such a small explosion. He leaves and tells her to rest, and she hasn't recovered yet. She asks his name and he tells that it's Tian, and she introduces herself as Li Wan. She asks him why he was on a deserted mountain and that he doesn't look like a villager from around here. He agrees with her and explains that he has no idea how he got there and he only remembers hearing the sound of pee when he woke up. She asks if he saw everything, but then gives a sigh of relief that he had just woken up, so he must not have seen much. He teases her and says that he wakes up fast. She tells him not to joke around and he is just teasing her. He tells that he did see her pee, to which she jumps out of bed to attack him, but falls down as her butt was still hurting. He pulls off her underwear as he needed to massage her to relieve the pain, to which she tells him that he is a pervert and shouldn't be anywhere near her. Chapter 4. The old man returns with the medicine. He tells her granddaughter to come out of her sheets as at the middle of summer she might suffocate. She tells her grandpa that she doesn't have anything to do with this pervert and even death can't make her change her decision. The old man asks what happened, to which he tells that he had massaged her to relieve the pain, or maybe it was because she got her pants taken down twice in one day. Lei Wan warns him that if he dares to spread any type of rumors, he will kill him. Tian laughs and mocks her for being flat except her buttocks, so he wasn't interested at all. He tells the old man to give her medicine so she can heal quickly. Lei Wan doesn't want to drink it and accuses it of being poisoned. This got on Qian's last nerve. He grabs the cup and tells her that he doesn't care if she lives or dies, but this will leave a mark on his reputation as a legend of medicine. Lei Wan mocks him by calling herself the Fairy of Medicine and tells him that she won't drink it. Tian smirks and says that if she doesn't want to drink it, he can always apply the medicine externally. He taunts her even more that she is deliberately trying to get him to apply the medicine on her buttocks as it pleases her. She quickly grabs and drinks it and labels him as a pervert again. The old man asks if his granddaughter will be ok or not. He tells him that she will be fine, but will need a few checkups every few days. He asks the old man if he could stay with them as he has nowhere else to go, and this way he can even check up on Lei Wan's injury. The old man allows him to stay as long as he wants to if he can cure his granddaughter. At night, while the girl dreams of Tian being a pervert and taking off her pants again, Tian keeps thinking about how he got into this unknown body and who the actual owner is. He thinks of scenarios that maybe the owner of this body was an alcoholic and or was maybe looking for pleasure. He understood that maybe due to this virgin body he kept feeling excited every now and then. He thinks that this may not be a coincidence and that he must get to the bottom of how this body was up in the mountains. Early in the morning there is a ruckus outside. Tian gets disturbed by it as he wishes to sleep more. An old man named Zhu and some hooligans were outside the old man's house asking for debt. He tells him that he had 2 days to either repay the debt or give Li Wan to them. The old man yells at him, why did he bring so many people? Does he wish to kidnap Li Wan? The old man tells him that he doesn't have the money and he will certainly not hand over her granddaughter to repay his debt. Li Wan begs Grandpa Zhu from the window that he can't give more time to repay the debt. He tells her that she only needs to accept his grandson's marriage proposal and all the debt will be cleared. Huzi had fancied her since he was a kid. Li Wan begs Huzi that she has no such feelings towards him and that he should just forget him. Zhou orders his men to storm the house and bring the girl out. He wants his grandson and her to be married today. The men rush in, but the old man blocks their path, saying that they will have to go through him. Huzi grabs the old man and is about to beat in when Tian opens the door, saying that he doesn't care about their petty fights, but as long as Li Wan is her patient. No one is allowed to take her anywhere. Huzi asks who he is and what relation he has with Li Wan. Tian explains that he's just a doctor looking out for his patient. Li Wan thinks why this pervert is standing up for her. Huzi gets mad that he can scare him. Tian asks him if he sees this small pile of ash in his hand before blowing it into his face. He tells him that beating him is as easy as blowing dust. Huzi gets pissed and wants to beat him, but Chu holds him back and asks that he doesn't look that he is from this village and does he fancy Li Wan as well. Tian tells him that he isn't interested in such types of women, making Li Wan angry for being labeled as a type of woman. Tian asks how much they had owed him and why did he need to bring such a crowd. Zhou says that it's only 20,000. Tian is shocked that for only 20,000 he planned on taking the girl with so many men. Tian tells him that he should be ashamed of himself for doing such a thing even though they all are from the same village. By now, Huzi had enough and went to attack Tane. Langwan tells him to look out, to which he smiles that she really does care about him. She tells him to dodge his massive punch, but Tane knew that he couldn't punch him. Hizu fell to the ground numb, he couldn't lift a finger. Tane gloats over him, saying that he already told him that dealing with him is as easy as blowing dust. Chapter 6. Zhao and everyone are shocked to see Hizu on the ground. He tells him to get up, but Hizu said that he isn't able to muster even an ounce of energy to get up. Everyone thinks that Tian is a dangerous man for having such abilities. Zhou asks what he has done to his grandson, and that he returns him to normal immediately. The old man agrees that they can't be vicious and asks Tian to revert him back to normal. He sprinkles some powder over Hizu and tells him that this is just a warning and next time he won't go easy on him. Hizu can finally move now. Tian tells them to come back in 3 days and that they should get lost for now. Hizu asks his grandpa that they should not let him off that easily and that Lai Wan only belongs to him. His grandpa tells him that they can't mess with him right now as they don't know anything about him. The best course of action for them would be to come back after 3 days and see if they have the money or not. Lai Wan sees everyone leave. Chen asks if she was actually worried for him, but she tells him that it was all an act and that Hizu should have beat him to a pulp. Tian says that not even 10 guys like him are no match for him. She asks what he had done to Hizu, that how was he able to make him fall down like that. Tian tells her that he is the medicine saint and can create concoctions that can help him in any way. Last May, he had luckily created some from the leftover herbs for his convenience if he ever needed them. Lan Wan laughs that he isn't that powerful. Tian can't believe that he is now being labeled as a liar now. He gloats even more by saying that he can even fix her up by giving her boob job using his medicine. She starts to cry because everyone at school calls her flat bored and even he is teasing her. He calms her down by saying that this is what he does and he can really help her. She then asks him to help her make them bigger. The next day, Li Muan goes to his room as he had left without doing anything for her bosom. She thinks of how her classmates are always calling her flat and how even a plane can land on her flat chest. She musters up her courage and enters his room saying that she doesn't want to be a washing board anymore and he can augment her breasts. To her surprise, there was no one in his room except her grandpa who was cleaning and had heard it all. She is starstruck and asks what her grandpa was doing here, to which he replies that Tian had gone outside to get some herbs, so he thought of cleaning his room. He asks her why she is talking about augmenting her breasts. Lei Wan runs out embarrassed and tells that she didn't say such a thing. While walking out, she trips and falls on Tian. She hurt her butt again. Tian had told her not to run or do anything too excessive, and this time Tian was ready to massage it properly. He pulls down her pants and gives her a massage. She yells and calls him countless bad names like pervert, hooligan, and scoundrel while sobbing. Tin, on the other hand, is mixing some herbs to make a paste. He tells her that all these names are getting old and that she should make new ones. Shen also asks what is the most expensive seafood in the market. Lai Wan tells him that lobsters are the most expensive as only one lobster brings in several $100s. He then tells her to focus on catching lobsters from now on. The old man enters and brings a huge pot that Tian had requested. He then rubs the paste he made onto the rim of the pot and tells them that it's time to go fishing. They set the pot near the seashore underwater and sat down to wait for the results. Tian looks at Lai Wan and thinks that innocent and cute girls were always his type and that Lai Wan is just like that. He compares them to the girls of his time and how they have tattoos and always crave violence. He calls Li Wan an angel as compared to those demonic beings. He feels relieved as maybe the heavens have blessed him for his good deeds. While he was reminiscing, the old man ran to them saying that they are rich. Lai Wan asks what is wrong. He tells both of them to come and see for themselves how the lobsters are gathering on the shore. Far away, we see a huge skyscraper known as the Yin Chuan building. A woman is staring outside the window thinking that it's been 3 days and is he really dead? Her secretary walks in and informs her about a notice from the bank about the debt repayment. She also tells him to arrange a meeting with President Zhu as well. Her secretary advises her that he is not a good person and that having a meal with him is like walking into a tiger's den. The woman explains that she knows what type of a man Zhu is, but she has no choice, and that this is the only way the company can survive. Back at Lai Wan's home, they all sit down for a great meal. The old man thanks Tian that due to him he was able to sell those lobsters, pay Lai Wan's fee, and repay the debt that he had taken from Zhu, all thanks to him. Lai Wan asks him how he managed to do this, and how did those lobsters just come to shore waiting for them. Tian tells her that he may be a superhuman. Lai Wan shrugs and tells him he doesn't have to tell her if he doesn't want to. She still thanks her for doing all this for them. Tian only asks that she stops kicking him when he massages her. She yells that why does he have to bring up such embarrassing moments and can't he just be grateful? There is a knock at the door, and the old man asks them to come in. To their surprise, it's Joe who enters and asks if they are celebrating something, seeing all the scrumptious food on the table. Grandpa yells at Joe that why is he here when he already has gotten all his payment back. Joe tells him that he actually came here for Lai Wan and Husey, that they would make a good couple. Chen interrupts, saying that he is still trying to force and fix his grandson with Li Hua. Chen grabs Li Wan and makes it clear to Zhu that Li Wan is his and only his, and that his grandson should just forget her. Chapter 9. Lai Wan called him a hooligan for grabbing her. Chen grabs her butt and asks her if she really wants to marry Husey. He explains that he is only acting this way so that Joe and Hizu stop bothering him in the future. Zhu looks at both of them hugging easily and thinks that maybe Li Wan really does like him as she looks comfortable in his arms. He gives up and leaves, saying that young people should deal with their own affairs and that he is too busy for this stuff and has other things to do. Lai Wan gets mad at Tian for grabbing her butt and tells him that she will bite him to death. Later at night, she asks Tian if he can really make her bosom bigger. She asks him questions like if he will put silicone inside them or will perform surgery, as she doesn't like pain. Tian explains that he had done similar augmentation for the president's daughter in the past, and this was just a walk in the park. She thinks that he is just bragging. Chin grabs the ointment he had made and tells her that he has to apply it directly and massage it for it to be absorbed. She thinks it smells really good, but he advises her that it's not for eating. He tells her that she should consider it again, as this will be a physical contact with her. She agrees and pretends as if a dog is touching her, which pisses off Tian. Tian tells her that he won't be gentle. He massages her bosom and gets a warm yet soft feeling. He describes it as legendary. After an hour-long session, he walks away saying that he will make some medicine tomorrow for her and that she must take it. He walks away and thinks that this frail body really is weak. He got winded from just a simple massage. He thinks of creating supplements to make sure his body is in better condition for future needs. He plans on making strength and special supplements for this body, as it will be useful for any unexpected situation. He looks up at the sky, thinking that he never knew controlling his desires would require a skill as well. In East City, we see a young man telling his dad that according to the reports he has found, the bastard is dead. The father is surprised and asks, did this happen? He explains that he is not sure, but it could have been some social scum who came out of nowhere and murdered him. This happened to be convenient for them. He tells them that his uncle doesn't know this yet and he shouldn't share this information with anyone else. He tells him that he knows what to do and will remain quiet in front of his uncle. His father then inquires about the progress between him and Sin Yu. He asks that he always took pride about how good his game was with the girls, and he still hasn't settled with that woman. He grunts, explaining that Sin Yu isn't like other women, and it's difficult this way. His father tells him that if she was same as other women, then she wouldn't be known as Ouying Sin Yu. He pressures him that this step is crucial, as he must attain her, as this is the only way for their family to rise in status. The young man said that he will do his best to do so. Back at Lai Wan's place, Tian is making the medicine when Lai Wan rushes in and tells him that they need to leave quickly. Tian drops his medicine, which he had been working on since morning, but Li Wan tells him that this isn't the time to worry about medicine and that they should leave immediately. A plague is coming and Grandpa wants them to leave immediately. Tian questions this, that how can a plague happen out of nowhere? As soon as they step out, they see some men in hazard suits who tell them that they are in the red zone, and to prevent the plague from spreading they must be quarantined, and they should head for the quarantine center. Chan questions him and asks why he is just randomly quarantining everyone without even checking for symptoms or sickness. They point a tranquilizer at him and tell him that no resistance is accepted, and they will trank him if they deem it necessary. Tian thinks that this is cruel of them to just point tranquilizers at them. Tian knows that it's no use, and he agrees to follow them. Both of them are sent into the quarantine room along with many others. Tian sees hordes of people just waiting around tired. Grandpa calls out to her granddaughter that what is she doing here? He had advised her to run away with Tian and escape this plague. She tells him that she tried to, but the other people were too fast and caught them while they were escaping. One of the men tells the old man not to make a fuss and that the plague broke out a few hours ago and that they couldn't have escaped, as the village was already sealed and blocked from all sides. He tells Li Wan that it was up for him to die as he was already too old, but his granddaughter was silly and young, and if anything bad had happened to her, he couldn't live with himself. Lai Wan tells her grandpa that he doesn't have to worry, as this place has all the doctors and everything will be fine soon. Grandpa thinks of this as a joke, saying that if they had a way to solve this, they wouldn't have blocked the village. Tin, on the other hand, starts to think about various reasons as to how this plague may have occurred. He thinks of the symptoms and how he could treat it if he knew more about it. He is an expert in herbs, but not at diagnosing people. He tells them that he is just coming back after he does some investigations. Lewan stops him, saying that he will get infected. Even Grandpa tells him that it's useless to go out there. Shin smiles and says that he will be fine and they don't have to worry about him. He casually walks out and is stopped by one of the doctors who tell him that he isn't allowed to move around. Chan replies that he just came out for a stroll and asks if they found the solution yet or not. If not, then maybe he could help them. This pisses the doctor off. He says that they have put so much effort, resources, and manpower trying to solve this, and they couldn't. How can he solve this? He tells him to go back and not to bother them. Chan talks back and tells them that it's fine, and he went on about his business and doesn't have to mind him. Taeyeon says that he is responsible for his own body and he has no right to stop him. This pisses the doctor off, and he asks a quarantine officer to come down and shoot this man for trying to spread the plague. Taeyeon accuses him of lying and yells that he only offered to help and he is lying about him spreading the plague. Just then, one of the lead doctors overhears their quarrel and asks what the matter is. The young doctor tells Dr. Wu that he arrived at the right time, as this man here was claiming that he can solve this problem. Even Dr. Wu is shocked and tells him that he shouldn't promise such things. He also asks if he actually is a doctor. Chan claims that he can help and get it done. Junji asks him if he was even qualified to be a doctor or if he has any certifications to prove his worth. If not, then he is useless. Chan asks him what effect does these two herbs cause. Junji is left speechless and can't make out what to say. Chan replies that its perfect clearing heat inside the body is what Junji needs at the moment. Junji gets mad and asks what is he on about. Chan further adds that with help of some other herbs, his body will be as dry as it is now. Chan explains that no one is more well-versed in herbs than him. If he still isn't qualified, then neither is Junji. Dr. Wu thinks that Tian is a master of Chinese medicine, but he tells him that he is not a doctor, but is familiar with all the herbs. Dr. Wu tells him that he is being too modest and takes him to see the patient. The patient looks shaken, with their eyes going pale and their face going dark. He asks what Dr. Wu's first diagnosis was. Junji laughs and thinks that Tian is a quack and a liar after all. Taeyeon looks at him pissed as hell and tells him that he is too noisy. Dr. Wu tells Junji that he spoke ill and got scared by a glance, which means he knows what he did was wrong. Dr. Wu explains the symptoms that he had found from all such patients, but further tests are still needed to be conducted. Chen thinks of a remedy to solve all of these with one concoction and asks for a pen and paper. He lists down various herbs that can be essential in curing all the symptoms as well as the entire plague itself. He tells them to boil all these herbs in water and give them to the patients 3 times a day. He called this life extension soup. Dermu views the prescription and thinks that he has heard of this name somewhere in a document, and this must be really popular and hard to come by. He is shocked that Tian knows how to make it. He hands the prescription to the nurse and tells her to make it as soon as possible. Junji says that it's all pompous and that there is no such thing. Tian mocks Junji that even though he isn't capable of anything, he can still make some decent comments. He further taunts Junji by telling that if he has a wife, he should leave her, as he should harm her any further. Jinsu gets pissed and asks what he had meant by that comment, and he won't let him leave until he explains. Tian slowly lists down his symptoms from heavy waist, swollen feet, discomfort while peeing, and to his lower body often feels cold. Jinshu is flustered and asks him that he knows all this. Chin keeps on going and lists down more and more points for him to listen and go even more in shock. Chin tells him that he suffers from kidney deficiency, and this causes difficulty in erection, and based on that he won't be able to satisfy his wife, and for this reason he wanted him to leave his wife before any actual harm was done. Jinju tries to play it off by saying that he has lots of fun at night and that he easily satisfies his wife. The others start to talk behind his back. No wonder both him and his wife are always so pissed, cause she doesn't get any action. In the meantime, the medicine is done and the nurse serves it to the patient. After an hour it takes effect and the patient looks more lively, as if she is sleeping peacefully. Everyone is shocked and they say that Tian is amazing considering that he comes from a small village. Seeing this, Jinju understands that he really is a skilled doctor even more than him. He begs him to help him with his special case so that he can keep his wife happy. He tells him that he doesn't deny it and everything he said is true, that his wife is unhappy with him and due to this reason he is always pissed. He asks for his forgiveness, but Qian denies it. He begs him that he is only 30 years old and he has yet to try many different things with his wife. If he helps him and for his help he would be rewarded. Chan tells him that it's his alcohol and lust addiction that has caused this and that this isn't his business. He leaves saying that he isn't a doctor, isn't obligated to help others, and only does what he likes. He further tells that now that the plague is resolved, he should treat the rest of the patients properly. Jinshu realizes his mistake, that he should not have messed with Tian, the super doctor. Even Dr. Wu is impressed with him. Everyone greets Dr. Tian and thank him for saving the village from such a bad plague. They all appreciate his efforts as a doctor. He keeps telling them that he's not a doctor, but they still think so anyway. A few days later, Tien rubs a paste he made for his body and absorbs it all into his skin. He feels glad that now his body will be strong as well. He laughs that this is not the only thing that has gotten him strong, but in fact his trunk is now strong as well. He raises his trunk and is glad that this weak part is strong now too. Just then, Li Wan enters and tells him that a reporter is there to interview him, but as soon as she sees the trunk in the air, she throws a bottle to it. Tien can't bear the pain and tells her that it's first time it got like this, so she doesn't have Ri beat it to death. The interviewer asks to interview Tien, but he explains that he is neither a great doctor nor a simple doctor. He tells them that he doesn't have time, but in reality, Tien knew that he can't risk being seen on television because whoever killed the original owner of this body might be watching, and this would jeopardize a lot of things. He tells her that the real hero is daughter Wu and that they should interview him. The interviewer tells him that all the villagers think of him as the great doctor who saved them, and that this interview might help him create his name and get popular unless he wants to be buried. Everyone cheers him and pushes him to do the interview so that he can become famous. Even Lai Wan tells him that he should do this so that he can become popular, but Qian ignores her as if she was an ignorant girl. The reporter keeps on pushing him that he should stop acting since all the villagers are pointing towards him for being their savior. Tian laughs and tells the interviewer that if the entire village said that she was her wife, then would she be his wife? The interviewer is shocked along with others who call Tian a shameless man for saying such things and flirting with the journalists. The interviewer is also quick on her feet and requests that she will be her wife if she lets her interview her first. He mocks her even more by saying that she doesn't have dignity if she can be harassed by anyone and that he doesn't need a wife like that. Everyone stares at them when Dawu appears. Tian asks him if he was the one who told everyone about this. Dawu explains that he couldn't take credit for his work, and that his work has rekindled a fire in him for Chinese medicine, and that how it still has many applications. He further adds that he can save so many lives if he uses it properly. Tian tells him that he isn't a doctor and doesn't care if anyone lives or dies. He orders the cameraman to surrender the tape and walk away. Tian knows that it will be a big problem if this goes public. The interviewer steps in saying that she has the right to film whatever she wants. Tian replies back saying that it is also within his rights to say no and not give an interview and can request the tape as well. Dawu tells them that all this can be resolved with some talk. The interviewer tells Dawu that he should cooperate and that she won't bite him. She can flirt and roleplay, but she deserves a bit of his attention and Vab at least give a small interview. Others tell them that this will be beneficial for him as well. Shan now knew that this is getting out of hand and that he can't stay in the village for long. He asks the interview to talk to him alone inside. She becomes hesitant and asks what he plans on doing with her, and only an idiot would go with him. He tells her that she can look at her hands, then decided it's totally her call. She blames it on him, but he tells her that only he has the cure of her illness. She even consults Dawu and to see what was wrong, and even he doesn't know. She is left with no choice but to enter. The interviewer is shocked that not even Dawu knows how to cure this. Dawu tells him that she can trust Qian as he might seem tough, but he really cares for his patients. She agrees to go inside where Tian tells her that she must do something for him as he got into this situation due to her. She asks how she can trust him when he did this to her hands. Tian tells her that they only have 1 hour until her hands become like this for the rest of her life. She trusts him and he explains that she must find out about a person, and that person is actually him. She laughs, but he tells her that it is true and that she needs to get info for her. She asks how she can get access to such info, to which Tian adds that she is not their simple run-of-the-mill woman, but a strong journalist who knows how to find a story. He even adds that she referred to Dawu as Uncle Wu, which means she already had connections with him. The interviewer starts to think that maybe he is actually really smart. He tells her that he had lost his memories and the last thing he remembered was being thrown into the sea. He blames her for trying to reveal his secret, as he wanted to lay low in the village and conspire in secrecy, and now due to her he may be killed twice. She starts to think that maybe her interview did cause such problems for him, but she only wanted good scope and did mean no harm. Qin brings out a small bucket of glistening water. He tells her that he would never have been struck in such a position if it weren't for her. She understands and he tells her to dip her hand in the water for 3 minutes, after which her hands emerge whiter than before. She is the only one who can accomplish this task, says Tian. She agrees and assures him that she will solve his matter efficiently. Dawu asks him what went on between them, to which Tian replies to nothing much. Dawu warns him to be careful as he doesn't know who she is in reality. Dawu asks Tian if he has any plans for his future regarding a job or a position that he is aiming for. He explains that his hospital has a vacancy for Director of Chinese Medicine and he would be the perfect fit for the title. Tian pushes him out saying that he doesn't need it, and as the interview is now over, he should go back since he is not needed here. Wu tries to bribe Tian by telling him that he can have any role or title awarded to him. Not only that, but he can most probably get a car, money, and even an apartment along with the job. Tian appreciates the offer, but he leads him out saying that he is not a doctor, and no matter the conditions or title, he will never say yes. Few hours pass by, and it's night time. Tian is looking out to the sky when Lai Wan enters and confronts him about his departure. She asks if he really plans on going and why can't he stay longer. Tian explains to her that it isn't all right for him to keep staying, especially after all that had happened. He had planned to stay for longer, but was not able to due to the current unrest he feels. Lai Wan tells him that if he fears something or someone, they can face it together. He tells her that it's going to be fine and that he can come back anytime and even visit her at school. She asks him to pinky swear and that it's a deal. He agrees and feels as if his heart just got heavier. Maybe this feeling is what he longed for, to be cared for. The old man joins them and says that even though he is now old and his time is long gone, this is now the time for young ones to step up. Saying this, he tells Tian to follow his aim and go ahead with what he needs to do, and no matter the decision, he will be there to support him. Just the Huzi rushes in and everyone, especially the old man, as he yells at that why he is here. Hizu begs Tian that he wants to be his apprentice and learn from him. Even Lai Wan is shocked to hear that he wants to take Tian as his master. Tian applauds him for being cunning, as he knows that following him would make him stand out more in crowd, but he rejects him, saying that he does not plan to take any apprentice at the moment and he should leave. Hizu hesitates as if his plan has been caught and asks if there's anything about him that he can change so that Tian would accept him. The old man taunts Hizu, saying that he doesn't have the brains to think of such a thing, and it must have been the old fox Zhou putting up to this. Lai Wan tells Hizu that there is no point in begging and that Lion never steps back from his decision. Lai Wan gets shocked when Hizu refers to her as master mistress. She can't believe it. Zhu puts 20,000 on the table as his fee and leaves, saying that if they require more, then they can ask him without hesitation. Meanwhile, Lai Wan is blushing for being called master mistress. Later on, Tian visits the journalist Miss Wang to find out whether she was able to find something related to the original owner of this body or not. She looked at him with anger and handed him the documents. When Tian grabs the document, he accidentally touches her, which makes Miss Wang jump back and call the name, saying that she touched a disgusting man. Shin is in disbelief as to why she's acting that way. He didn't do anything wrong. He thinks maybe the truth behind his body is the real reason. He quickly rushes through the documents and is in disbelief from what he has seen. He asks if all these are authentic. She tells him that it's all true, and that she is disgusted to even breathe the same air as him. Chen really can't believe that these horrendous things were actually the norm for the real owner of the body. He learns that the real owner of the body was a total thug who wasted his entire life. He was a playboy, spending his family's fortune day in and day out. He would conspire with evil associates and even date various girls, stay at hotels, clubs, all night partying. Tian can't believe what he is reading, that he was a complete seducer, and no wonder this body was weak all the time. It was all due to his lifestyle of partying, alcohol, fooling around with girls. He can't pursue with himself, saying that even he wasn't this addicted. Miss Wang thinks that from his expression it feels as if he really did lose his memories and then he didn't remember any of it. Was he telling the truth all along? Tian tells her that it's the truth and that he was a man of morals and high standards. He would not indulge himself in such lustful or addictive acts all day long. Tian thinks that the only thing he has in common with this body is that they have the same name, which may be just sheer dumb luck. Miss Wang tells him that even though most of the pages tell about his horrific acts, some do tell something that is useful. That he has a company as well as a fiancé, have a girlfriend, and now he has a fiancé. Miss Wang tells him that as far as she could dig up, she had concluded that his company is about to go under and even his finance is in a lot of trouble. Well, that is it for now. Leave a like and subscribe for part 2.